Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just woke up from the biggest nap of my life, the kind of nap where you sleep and you wake up in another universe. That was the kind of nap that I had. I'm glad I was able to sleep because these days I'm just not able to sleep because of my phone. I have a phone addiction, and whenever I'm on my phone too much, then I'm just on my phone too much and it just fries up my brain. I'm not able to do conscious activities, and my mental health is not perfect all the time. And sleep is one of the things that really keeps me less anxious. I haven't been able to do that because I guess I'm very burnt out with all the things in my life. I have a 9 to 5 job, and then on the side I'm trying to do content creation, two channel, well, Instagram channel, all of that without any incentive, and I'm just kind of feeling burnt out. So that is that. But I recently asked my Instagram fam to ask me some questions that they would like me to answer, and I thought I'll quickly come here and answer some of these questions because it's fairly easy to make video for me. I'm just sitting down here and answering all of these questions, but in a long form format, and I hope some of you get these questions answered, learn from these things, and whatever I have to say, you take something from it. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. But before that, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also do let me know how are you feeling these days. If there is any other questions than the ones that I'm just going to answer, make sure drop them in the comment section below. I'll take a look and try to answer them as much as possible. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. I just don't want to sit here for too long, but I'll try to do my best. Okay, let me just take this first question. How do you stay so positive? What is the secret behind this? Please tell me too, elder sister. I really like it when people call me their elder sister because I am the eldest sister to two siblings, and that's my personality in a way. That is how I look at myself, and that is the reason behind I impart so many things online as well. I feel that is the part of my personality now. But having said that, this person asked that how do I stay so positive? I don't think so. I was always this positive or optimistic or realistic. Even like especially in my 20s, I would always find faults in something or the other, and I would really crib a lot, complain a lot, try to just see the negatives in everything because I think I wasn't very happy with my life. I was lost and I was really lonely in some ways or forms, and I really did not understand what is the true purpose of life in a way. While now I know there is no purpose of life per se, but you can still enjoy everything around you and you can still be there for your friends and families, and there is a lot to be grateful for in this life. And this kind of attitude came to me after I really had to look at the positives in my life. I don't know if you know that story. I moved to London, then I lost my dad around that time, and then there was this whole sea of questions in front of me, and there was this whole plethora of things that are negative in my life, and they still are to date, right? Nothing has changed, but I kind of learned how to accept things for what they are and see the silver lining in everything that is happening. Because the truth of life is there is always going to be something that is missing from your life. There's always going to be hard times, and I hope I never come across as a irrationally positive person who is just invalidating all of these feelings. Rather, I like to think of myself as someone who looks at all of these things, accept them for what they are, and still try to go ahead and find the positives in things. Because I'll tell you this little secret. If you have a choice like this, I decided at one point I would rather take the positive choice, that there is still a lot of good things in this life to experience and to be grateful for. And when I did that, I think my life also turned around to be one of a lot of abundance. I still have a lot of bad days. I get burned out really easily, but even with that, I really wanted to live this kind of life where I'm doing all of these things. No one is putting a gun to my head and making me do it. I can decide to quit anytime, but even with that, I feel super grateful, super positive, and I keep just taking that attitude in life and seeing the good in things. with a realistic approach. When it comes to being smart, I always try to be smart with boundaries, with my mental models. I have learned a lot over the years, and what I have learned is there's always gonna be the good, the bad, and ugly things in this life. What your goal is to make your life how you want it to be like, and keep putting in the effort and keep looking at the positive side, because your life is a cumulative effort of accumulation of all the days that you live. And if you're gonna live all the days cribbing and complaining and looking at the negative side, that is what your life is gonna become. But you also have a choice to look at the brighter side sometimes, be delusional, look at the small things that you can still be grateful for. And when you do that, your days will look something different, and maybe your life will also look something different. Let's take question number 2 now. Question number 2: any advice for someone with a career gap looking to get back into the corporate world? This is a question that I think is really something that I can answer very well. I'm someone who took a career gap 2 times, and I have been working as a software engineer for close to 10 years now, a decade. And in that time, I took a break around the 3.5 year mark, and then again like 2.5 years back when I was in transit to move to the US, and I was in the UK. So 2 times I have taken a career gap. The first time around I took it for mental health reasons, because my mental health was not really good, and at that time I did not understand it. So it took me a little bit of time to go to therapy, to get my horses together and everything. And then I got back into interviewing for stuff. And then the second time around was when I really wanted to end my long distance relationship with my partner. I wanted to get married, and I did not see any way to do that at that time. So it was decided that I'm just gonna take a little break, and I was very lonely after a point living alone in London. So I decided it's not for me anymore, and I decided to quit my job for a little bit and see what lays ahead of me. So that was my story, and each time I would say like I became a little bit stronger, and I became a little bit bolder in my approach or in my resolve, that this whole propaganda that we have, that if you quit your job for whatever reason you're not gonna be able to get back to workforce, it kind of was proven wrong. And I'm going to also say this with a pinch of salt, that in my experience I did find it hard to not feel like I'm worthless. My self-worth was all over the place around that time, and I really was very anxious in the sense that whether or not I would be able to get back to workforce, and that is all very normal. I understand it. But what I'm going to tell you is, in the end it will work out. You will have to like really work hard to get back to it. And the first time around when I did decide to take a career gap, I didn't know any better. I didn't know what I'm doing, to be honest with you. I just couldn't handle it anymore, and I dragged it quite a bit also, because I shouldn't have been in that place longer than my mental health afforded me. But back then I was a young girl, and I didn't know that you can also quit your job. I did not know that it is okay to take a step back, and I would feel like a failure if I do that. And I did feel like a failure around that time. I felt like I'm a failure and I'm just gonna prove something to someone, and I'm just gonna go to the best company in the world that is gonna take me. On that note, I'll tell you, if you have decided to take a career gap for whatever reason, whenever you decide to come back, be realistic with your expectations. Do not be like, I'm just gonna be able to jump straight back to it. Be motivated, but that is not gonna happen. You have to think of things practically. So imagine you are this person who have decided to do XYZ for whatever reason, and you have a resume of ZYX, right? And then there is this whole market of recruiters, market of companies that want to take you or do not want to take you. So you need to make sure that with your emotions and practical approach and whatever credentials you have, you find out companies that are going to be able to take you, that are in need for individuals like you, and fill that gap. And that is going to be the place that you can go back to whatever reason. And once you get back, then you can decide whichever company is your dream company and build up from there. It's not just gonna be like you decided to do that and things are gonna line up for you. That never happens. Even though you feel in your mind you are the main character of this universe, that never happens. So you have to be very realistic with your expectation, but you also be motivated internally that I'm gonna do that, and I will make make sure I'm smart and I have all the tools and resources to understand that I can do that. You can also be in touch with your colleagues, your friends, your family who can help you. In my case, I have been lucky that my partner, my sister, and a lot of my friends are in tech, and I think whenever I decided to come back, they really helped me. They took my mock interviews, they put me through their network, they referred me to places, and they were also there to listen to me whenever I failed interviews. I have failed like hundreds of interviews, to be honest with you, and I used to get very dejected and my mental health was really bad around the time. Already I felt like a failure and rejection, and whenever companies would reject me, I would feel like I want to just lock myself up in my room and not get out. But that's not how the world works. Eventually I found employment in places I never thought I would land up in, and they brought a lot of joy and experience to me actually. And you should also, number 3 to that, you should also keep your options open. You shouldn't think like, if this is not the company that I'm gonna be able to bag an offer from, then I wouldn't go back. You shouldn't think like that. Always remember, having a job is better than not having a job, okay, for your financial freedom. You should be very realistic with these things, okay, because once you're gonna have a paycheck, you're gonna feel more confident. You're gonna feel like, okay, I have some landing space, I have some backup plan. I'm not just running from pillar to post, and at least in the time being that I have this job, I will be able to sustain myself. And what do you know, that place only gives you more opportunities, gives you more experience in your life than you could have ever imagined in any other place. So just be open, have an open mind, and you also go out there thinking of whatever comes my way, I'm gonna be open to it. If it is something that I can work with, I will work with. I am confident and I'm deserving of it. Very important part, the last part of this, is you should be smart. You should be really smart when it comes to processes like these. When I was going through a bunch of interviews and trying to get back to workforce, of course it was really hard, and looking back I feel I had a lot of support and a lot of people helping me around. I do also feel like I kept my resume really updated, and this is what took me places. So always make sure wherever you are in your career, you make sure you are a really important resource, at least on paper, right? So you have to make your resume and you have to have your career that works for you, and always have this attitude like, wherever I'm gonna go, I'm gonna present and come with all the experience that I accumulated over the years, and that should look good, right? So once that happens, anytime in your life you decide to take a step back and come back, you should have that leverage on paper, because the resume is the thing that all the recruiters, all the companies are gonna see. So be very smart about it. Reach out to the mentors in your industry, how to do that. Make yourself a marketable person, have good communication skill, work on all of these things, soft skills that a lot of people don't talk about. I feel, and I could be wrong, I feel that I have somewhat good communication skills, and in any interview I'm able to communicate what I am thinking. And this is a skill. Like, I am in tech and it's not a skill that is measured on paper, but I still feel like this is a skill that makes you apart from the crowd, and this is a skill that also makes you pleasant to talk to speak to in interviews. And all of these small things, they add up. So work on the soft skill, work on the things that you are going to show, right? The things that are gonna make you more marketable, and keep updating your resume. Keep being smart about it. Crying about it is not gonna help you. You're just gonna waste your energy. If you get rejected from any interview, okay, cry about it, talk to your friends, but jump back to it, because there are a lot of companies out there that are ready to take you. Take it from me, right? They are ready to take you. And even with your emotional baggage, even with whatever is happening in your life, be smart about it. If it is needed, if you can afford it, go to therapy, go out and reach out to free resources that are gonna give you tools to be able to put yourself in a marketable position, put yourself in a confident position. Do all of these things, do whatever works best for you, and then go out in the market and be very confident about it. And internally you can feel however you want to feel, but it's totally okay to be in that situation, and I have been there before, and I hope these tips help you. Now the next question that I'm going to take is around running, and I'm gonna club a couple of questions around running into one. I got a lot of questions. How do you run? What do you eat when you're running? And how do you got into running? So I got into running around the time while I was in London, and I was grieving really hard, and I was very lonely. My mental health was already shit, and I decided that I'm just gonna go out for a run. And this happened because in the apartment that I used to live, there was a park right in front of my place, and from the balcony you could see a lot of runners going around, and I would sit in the balcony and think, one day I'm just gonna go out and go for a run. And I already had like a nice pair of running shoes that my partner gifted me sitting in my closet, and I did not use them for like a year. One day I decided enough is enough. I'm not just gonna keep them in the closet, and I'm just not gonna waste away my life like this. And this is how I started running. I've also read the book What I Talk When I Talk About Running by Haruki Murakami a year before, and that is what motivated me to become a runner. And that's the book that I attribute to pushing me in that direction. I was sort of little bit of sporty person when I was growing up, but not too much, because I was always in books, always in academics, and was never a athlete sort of person, did not have that mindset. But once I did it a lot. Like I ran like every single day. I ran in the cold, I ran in the rain, I ran in the heat, everything, and it sort of came together. And I really attribute everything in my life to running, because it makes me feel confident, and it makes me feel like a person again. It makes me feel like I'm very strong, especially as a woman. Now I am 31 years of age, and I feel really confident, and I feel very strong even with the age, even with everything. If you look at my older pictures, you will realize that I seem younger, I seem more lively, and I seem like I have more life after I started running. And in my 30s, then I was ever in my 20s because of my mental health issues and because of other health issues related to that. So now, because of running, I was able to sleep better, I was able to eat better in years, right? And I also started feeling confident. I'm not just gonna leave it to that. I ran with it, literally ran with it, like my life depended on it, and it did kind of depend on at that time. So that is how I got into running, and running is something that I feel is a very important part of my life. It should be a very important part of every woman's life, not just running, any kind of physical exercise. Everyone should be doing some kind of physical exercise for at least 30 minutes every single day. This is how we are supposed to be, and if I can motivate people into that direction, I will keep doing that. So that is how I got into running. And then there is another question. I know it is basic, but I can't do it. I can't even run or jog for 1 minute straight, which is fine. You know, when I initially started running, this is also my experience, I could barely run 1 minute, then I would stop, and then I would get demotivated, and I would think of this as a very hard thing that I have to do. It is one of the hardest thing to do, actually. So if you have decided to go out there and do it, you are already a winner, okay? Talk to yourself in that manner. If you have decided to do this really hard thing, you're already a winner. You just have to follow the process, go as slow as your body permits, and eventually it has to come to you. Why do you want to do this thing? You want to do this thing for yourself, to be physically fit, to be mentally fit, and for that to happen, it will take some time. You have to give yourself that grace. You have to give yourself that effort. You have to do it every single day. So initially when I would run, I would also get tired in just 1 minute, and that was because I would run really fast, faster than my body permitted, was accustomed to, and then I would be breathless and I would not like it. Very important things in running are you should be able to converse whenever you are running. You should run in a conversational pace. And that could mean anything for you, right? Initially, it could mean simple jog, very slow jog. And slow runs are so enjoyable, right? You go out there, you make a fun activity out of it. I always stop and take so many pictures of my surroundings. I stop and smell the flowers. I look at what is around me. And I really like doing it, because usually when I'm at home, I'm always on my computer or always on my phone, and this is one activity that puts me out in the nature. So you think of it as this fun activity that you are doing for your mental health as well and your physical health as well. And initially what you're gonna wanna do is you run for a minute, then you walk for a minute, then you run for a minute, then you walk for a minute. This is a very standard technique people tell beginners, right? And you do it for 10 minutes every single day. Just get into this habit of getting out of the house in your workout clothes in your running clothes and keep repeating it. Slowly next week you increase the cadence. You do it for like 15 minutes, you do it for like 20 minutes, and eventually you're gonna find yourself being able to walk for 30 minutes. And once you do, you can slowly diminish the frequency of walking and keep doing it, but it will take you a couple of months to get there. If you quit in between, you're not gonna be able to experience that life. That is on you. I'm not gonna make you want to run. I cannot do that. You have to do it for yourself. So when you do that, then only you're gonna be able to live that kind of life. So don't be deterred, do not be scared about it. It is a process, and if I will promise you this, if you get around that bridge, if you are able to do that, there is a really beautiful life waiting for you out there. So do it for that. And then another question, how do you find time to run? Do you usually do it before work or after? Asking as I feel lazy and demotivated to work out after my commute. So I usually run in my evenings after I come back from work, and of course it is very hard to do it after I come back from work, because I come on work from office days, I come back at around 7, and then I have to cook also. Me and my husband, we have to cook, and then by the time it is time to sit and have like a cup of coffee or anything after a really long day at work, it's already like 8, and I can't go out to run at 8. It gets dark. So usually I target like 7:30. So what I would do is I would come back and I would get into my workout clothes as soon as I come back, and then I have my coffee and have some things to eat and do other chores around the house. But what helps me is I usually plan my runs around work from home days. I have the option of working from home on Mondays and Fridays, so I leverage that. On Friday, I really finish up my work and go out for a run, even if it is late, if it is late evenings. That is kind of something that I look forward to. Same for Monday. So these are 2 days that I have already targeted. And then on the weekend, maybe on the Saturday or on the Sunday, whatever my mood permits, I would do another run. So this is like 3 runs already that I have targeted. And personally for me, I always started off running in the evenings. So initially when I got into running, I would be really stressed at work, finish my work, and then close my laptop at 6 and get ready for my run. So this kind of became a trigger for me. I finish my work, I close my laptop, I get into my workout clothes and out the door. So this closing the laptop, getting out the door, this closing the laptop, getting out the door became kind of a ritual for me. And I have tried morning runs. I don't enjoy them because I haven't carb loaded, I haven't fueled well, and all of these things. So I don't like it. I have given up on that idea, although I would like to do that so that it is out of the way. But I have given up on that idea for now, and I do enjoy my evening runs because in a way that has become kind of my thinking ground for whatever happened to me in the whole day, and I can think about it, work with my partner, with my family, everything that I'm thinking, I will go out there and think about it. That is how I started running also, because I had a lot of negative thoughts and I would go out and run with them, and it has kind of become a ritual for me that I go out and run with all the thoughts that I have. I don't have a lot of negative thoughts anymore, but I have a lot of thoughts in my day. Whatever I'm thinking, I'll wait for my run to come and I'll think around that time. So that is it. If you want to do that, you can also do that. I like to think of things as triggers. If you are coming back from work and if you don't have a trail around you, you can go to the gym, you can find a buddy, you can make a fun activity out of it, something that you do for yourself and no one else. So these are the kind of mental tricks that you have to play with your mind, because mind doesn't like doing hard things. But if you make hard things more fun and tell yourself that you're actually gonna be really benefited at the end of it. Question number 4, I'm already so tired. I don't know why I'm so tired today. Actually, I do know why I'm so tired today. So question number 4 says, what does it say? What's your motivation now about posting on social media and other questions about content creation? Someone asked, how did you start your content creation journey, like the initial followers to set the platform? Good day, have a good day. So I have been a content creator for almost 6 years now. I feel I stopped counting, and initially I started off as a bookstagrammer. So I used to read a lot of books and I would post pictures of my books and reviews on Instagram, and that was what bookstagram was back then. I don't know how it looks like right now, but I left it around the 4-year mark because I just wasn't feeling it. So I was a very successful bookstagrammer, I would like to say, because I would get a lot of books and publishers would send me books to review and all of those things. And I feel like at the time I really needed a platform like that. I didn't think I had a lot of friends, and reading was something that I like to do, and I made a lot of friends through Bookstagram, and some of them are still my friends, although I don't consider myself a Bookstagrammer anymore. But I made a lot of friends. I did realize that there is a lot of power on internet, and you can find your tribe, you can find your friends on the internet. It was kind of a cute space that I had, but I would earn nothing from it, and I was pouring in a lot of my effort into it. And around the time when I moved to London, I also started sharing a lot of other things about my life, my mental health journey, and everything. So everything on my content creation board or whatever I post is related to what I do, like whatever interest I have accumulated over the years. Now I'm getting into running properly after like 3 years of being a runner. Now I have started posting running content and people are taking it well, so I started doing that. So I would like to think of myself as a lifestyle creator, and I have been doing it for 6-7 years. Still I haven't been monetized, and someone asked what is my motivation to post it. I have only one motivation, and that is a lot of people joined this journey with me, right? I have had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and there were a lot of people who were ready to listen to it, and they also pitch in, and I feel that kind of energy is something that accumulated in my life. I feel like at one point I really need a lot of blessings and prayers, and a lot of people online, internet strangers, they gave it to me for some reason, and I would like to believe people were really helpful to me. They were really wanting me to succeed in a way, and that kind of community you don't get anywhere, okay? And I would like to think of my community as one that is really positive, that believes in themselves, that believes in life being this accumulation of ups and downs, but you are able to make it, especially for little girls, for girls my age, and coming from like a background of not coming from a very affluent background, but still making it. All of us are working, all of us have had good academic background or not, like, but we are hardworking, like we are trying to do whatever we can, have our financial freedom, to have our independence and all of those kind of things. So that is me, and that is how I want to also share content, right? That is the content that I want to share, especially with so much noise on the internet, right? Misinformation on the internet, and this sense of constant comparison that we have with each other. With that said, my only motivation is to have this community, and I think I get burned out. One day I'm just gonna decide to not do it, and it can be any day. Someone also asked, how do you get those initial followers? I would say you first understand why you want to do content creation. If it is for money, then go out and have a business mindset in your content. I never had that, and I feel it's taking me a long time to get monetized and to feel like I will blow up or I will earn any kind of money from it. It's been so many years, and I still haven't cracked the code, and I feel bad about it, to be honest. But thankfully for me, I have a full-time job, and I really like that full-time job also. So I'm never gonna leave it. I'm never gonna be dependent on a social media income to sustain me. I'm only doing it for the community, and also my personal interest is I like doing these things. I feel having been able to talk to a camera have given me a lot of confidence, and I take it everywhere I go. So this is something of a really nice skill to have, and to have people around you to talk about these things. That is my wealth, okay? And no money, but a lot of people, a lot of community, which is nice. But if you want to sustain yourself, be clear about it, do it from a business perspective, do what you want to do. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not very easy, okay? It's a lot of saturation in the market. You would have to put yourself out there, you would have to do so many things that they don't teach, right? And you will have to figure it out on your own. So if you're a person who is not a freelancer, who doesn't have that kind of mindset, I would say don't do it. Do it for whatever interest you have. Maybe you are also into reading, you want to share your book reviews or what you are reading, or you are into running, so you want to just share that. Find your tribe, to find your community. You are into makeup, do that. Whatever you are into, you can do that. But if you're strictly thinking of it as having followers and being able to make it a business, you will have to think really hard, and it's super hard, okay? I'm gonna tell you, not to discourage you, it's super hard. Be ready for it. Talking from experience, the landscape of social media changes every single day, and you have to have that mindset of learning from your fellow creators and speaking to an audience and bridge that gap, and then find brands who are able to give you that kind of money for whatever you are doing, and all of those things. You know, it's not easy. Behind the scenes a lot of things happen, but I would like to say, have a learning mindset. Having a learning mindset always helps, even in your job, even in your career, whatever you are trying to do. And also just be open to having a nice community, be open to doing this for the right reason. I find it really nice that I have this community, and I still am motivated to do it because I think I did it for the right reasons. Money is not there, it has to come. If it doesn't come, then I have to decide to just leave everything as is and just chill in my life. But for someone who is able to do that, do it, but also try to make sure you're learning, you're also having a nice community around, and you are also doing it for the right reasons. And now the right reasons is a really subjective term. It can mean anything for anyone. Just do not scam people, okay? Just don't scam people, and don't give wrong advice to people. People's life depend on these things, so just don't do that. But there are a lot of ways where you can solve this problem of getting monetized and bridging that gap of creating your own brand and finding your own community. Do it the right way. It might be a little harder than usual, but I think you're gonna sleep better if you do that. Okay, final question. Before the final question, I'm just gonna take one bonus question. Someone asked me, how do you keep a spark alive in a relationship? I am gonna make it quick because I don't like to talk about my relationship a lot. Although me and my partner have been together for over 13 years. We met in college and we dated in college, then we were in Bangalore, and then it has been a long journey. So to sum it up, like, I am someone who doesn't like giving relationship advice because different people's relationship look different in different point of time, and this was our relationship also. We went through a lot of ups and downs, and my life was going through a lot of ups and downs, so it wasn't always rosy. So I don't want to put it out there that my life, my relationship is the rosiest of all. Yes, I think it was a fact that me and my partner are really good friends with each other, and whenever you are finding a partner, I realized it later, you have to make sure that you can be friends with them, like actual friends with them, like their company, like doing things with them, like to share things with them. And this is what my experience has been. Me and my partner, we like to do a lot of things together, and a lot of our interests match. But even the things that do not match, we try to make it a point to, you know, support each other in that. So number 2 is respect. Like, that is as basic as it can get. Respect and finding that care and love and support in the other person, but also try to be friends with them and keep the spark alive. Keep doing things for each other, keep dating each other. Our lives kind of get a lot. Speaking of, hello, yeah, so as I was saying, just try to keep that spark alive. Just try to be there for each other in the good and the bad times. I think it is as basic as it can get. You have to be there, but also keep having fun with each other even with the bad times. Try to do activities together as well, even if your interests are poles apart. With our lives getting so busy after we got married, we did realize the term that they say, there's a lot of responsibility that come to you when you're married. It's not easy, and we kind of get busy, but eventually we try to make time for each other. Go out for a little walk every once in a while, or watch our favorite TV shows. At the end of the day, try to cook together every once in a while, and all of these small things make us want to spend time with each other. So just like, I feel like some days my husband is my best friend, and we have seen so much of life together, but I still feel there is so much of life to be seen together still. So I'm really excited for that, and if there is someone who makes you feel excited about that fact, that's how you know you have met your person. Okay, so quickly, it wasn't as quick as I wanted it to be. We are gonna move on. Final question in the list. A lot of people ask this question, and the question is, how do you manage work, content, and health and personal life? So this is a question that a lot of people ask me because I happen to show that I am able to do a lot of things in my life. I'm not gonna deny that. I don't get tired easily, but these days I'm getting tired. That is a different thing. But I am usually very motivated to do things. And that kind of mindset came after I went on this healing journey, and I went on this journey to fix my life, right? And at that time, I was really depressed. I was just not functional at all, and I wouldn't do things. I wasn't even doing anything. Okay, so for like 26 to 27 years of my life, I didn't do anything. I would travel. I liked traveling back then as well. That was the only thing I think I would enjoy. But I was a depressed individual, and I was going through a lot of anxious days, years. I wouldn't sleep. I had insomnia. It was really bad. Okay, so back then when I decided I'm just gonna turn my life around, and I did turn my life around. I did it after doing so many things. Okay, I've worked really hard for everything. I would like to give myself that credit today. I don't give myself that credit, that I worked super hard to turn everything around. If my mind says you want to sleep, okay, sleep. But if my mind says just laze around, don't go for a run, I'm just gonna not listen to it. I worked super hard to be where I am, and I'm just not gonna give up on it. I saw the results for the first time in my life. I saw the results of working so hard and coming to a point where I'm able to live that life that I once only dreamed of. And I do not say this jokingly. I cannot imagine that I run 5k normally, like on a random Monday where I have worked for like 7-8 hours, cooked food, cleaned everything, and then go out for a 5 kilometer run in my backyard. I couldn't imagine that back when I was 22 or 23, because if someone would say, hey, do you want to run like a 5k on the weekend, I would laugh at them. It is a really big thing to me, someone who was just super depressed, not being able to enjoy life. It is a really big thing for me. So what I'm trying to say is, I really wanted to live this life where I'm able to take care of my personal life, of my health and my career, because at one point in my life all of these things were not there, and I did recognize that these things are not going the way they should, and it used to bother me a lot. But instead of crying, I used to cry a lot for a long time in my life. But I realized, instead of crying, if it bothers me so much, how about I do some hard work and turn it around? And that was my motivation to do these things. And then motivation is there, but after that there are actual actionable steps that you need to do to be able to live that life. So you have to distinguish motivation from just this vague idea up in the cloud where it's just going around and you think one day I'm just going to do that, to actually being able to live that life. The part to that is steps that is going to take you there, and for that, to do that, you need to come up with a plan. So I would write a lot of things in one journal, that what are the areas or pillars of my life that need improvement, and what are the pillars in my life that I want to work on, and that is how my day should look like. So I wrote down, it's number one is health. Okay, health is the paramount thing in anyone's life. Number two is my work, whatever ambition I have. Number three is my friends and family and everyone around me. And number four is space for myself or doing something for myself. And come to it, I am living that kind of life now. You don't see a lot of my personal life where I'm meeting my friends, and I have touched wood such good friends. I am enjoying my time with my partner. I am being there for my family, and I'm also trying to excel in my career. You don't see all of that because I decide to not show it, but all of these things I put in work every single day. Chota chota, little I do, because the unit of life is not a year or like a decade. The unit of life is each individual day. So I made it a point that I'm gonna put little effort every single day, and that is how my life will look like. And eventually I started taking these things as a journey and started enjoying my life and days. So I'm not afraid if like 5 years down the line where I'm gonna land, because I know for a fact that path to 5 year is every single day that I'm curating for myself, and then I am arriving at that day. And you can never be sure what your life is gonna look like 5 years down the line, but you can definitely plan for it, and you can definitely start today little by little, and that little by little is gonna accumulate into something big that is gonna surprise you in the best way possible. So I have seen it happen in my life. For the last 3 years I was just doing that, and initially it was really hard, and initially I just used to be really anxious also, like what if I fail, like what if things will not work out the way that I'm thinking, what if all of this hard work is down the drain. Thankfully it did not happen. Thankfully I was able to see that if you believe in things will happen, but you need to put the work. And to that, add to that point, how am I able to do that? I started using Notion like 4 years ago. This is a product that I recommend without any sponsorship, without anything, without any ad, because I think Notion has completely changed my life. Once you start writing what you want to do and see that thing on paper, you are more than willing to actually do those things. And once you see that on paper, you are able to see your progress, you feel more motivated. And especially to the fact that I have content creation on the side, and I also have like my running to do, right? So I write all of these things out. I write how my days look like, and I am a bit more organized in that sense. I have a content calendar planned out for me for the whole week, for my YouTube videos, for my Instagram, and I just dump everything there. So I don't have to think every single day. I don't have to think when I'm moving or when I'm doing other things. So I dump it there and I compartmentalize that space, and then I move on to the other space. And these systems actually kind of help you. And I also like to think of all of these pillars as systems, right? Each system should work for me. It shouldn't be the other way around, where I am working hard around the system to make it work. The system should eventually work for me, eventually work on its own. So I kind of think of my days as a system where I'm trying to solve these problems of fitting my work in, then fitting my content creation in, then fitting my running in, all of these things in, and not get overwhelmed with it at any time. I would also like to mention, at any time where I feel overwhelmed, this is something that I am really bad at, but I'm trying to be better at, is to take a step back and to really think what you want to do. Now I'm at a point where I feel semi-successful in my systems, and it's working fine. I'm not a lot anxious, and I feel like I'll be able to handle it. I'm a bit confident about these things. So I'm at a space where I should take step backs more often, and I should rest, and I should come back with a fresh mind. I'm really bad at it, and I am always doing things because I still come from a mindset where I feel if I stop doing these things, I'll be honest with you, stop doing these things, somehow they will slip from my hand because they were never there. I promised myself one day, I clearly remember this day, that I have spent so much of my life just being in bed because I was so depressed. I would just be in my bed for hours on the weekend, after work. I would not do anything. I wasted so much of my life just being in my bed. I am not gonna be in my bed. And I decided that, and even though I'm getting bored in my house or I don't have anything to do, that's not true. I have millions of things to do. But if I feel like I don't have anything else to do, I wouldn't waste my time in bed. I would still do something. I will go out, I will go for a walk, I will meet a friend, I will go out and read, I will do something. I would never be in my bed. And this was a promise that I made to myself, that I really did waste years in my young life, like young years, just being in my bed and brooding on these things. I would never let this happen to me ever again. I made a promise to myself, and that was a promise that brought me here, I feel. So I eventually started this journey thinking I don't know what I'm doing, but eventually I problem solved and I was able to leave those notions behind and just move forward and enjoy this life that I desperately vouched for, I desperately dreamed of. And to some it might look like a very busy life where I'm not stopping, where I'm constantly working so hard. Like my husband always says, I work very hard, and he can see. But in my mind, I always wanted to live this life, and I am always grateful for this life. So with that motivation, with that balance, I will keep going, is what I feel. So you have to have that mindset, I feel. But even without the mindset, you can still have actionable items that are going to lead you there. So it's hard, but it is totally worth it. And if you want to do it, let me know, ask any follow-up questions. I am more than happy to elaborate on what my systems look like and how I am able to manage it. In summary, I have that intention to do it, and I do know my life looks really abundant when I do all of these things. So I feel motivated to do these things. And number two, I always problem solve. I always write what my days would look like and offload that kind of mental load to a journal page, or like dump it on a page, and I am able to look at how my life would look like. So all of these things help me, and I am super motivated to do all of these things. And you should also be super motivated to turn your life around and do the things that you want to do, is what I'm gonna tell you. With that out of the way, I'm super tired again. I am gonna take a leave for today. Happy Raksha Bandhan to everyone who is celebrating today. Today is Raksha Bandhan, and now I'm just gonna sit for a little while and go for a nice lunch, Raksha Bandhan lunch. After this, after speaking for so long, you have fun with your life, you have fun with your days. If you like this video, please like it, share it with your friends and family who you think might be benefited from this video, and consider subscribing to the channel. I have this little cozy space here where I talk about mental health, where I talk about systems, where I talk about motivation, where I talk about good things in life, okay? And I'm trying to make something out of it. If you want to support me, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, take care.